Hello, this is Dyer Kennedy from Divergence Analysis going over how to use DVAN in the Bloomberg system. First, go to a G chart. I have MAADEN security loaded on a daily 6-month chart. I'm going to add the DVAN studies by going to Security Study, clicking Add Study, typing in DVAN. So for daily and intraday scalping of equity securities, I would recommend using DVAN buying selling pressure. Add another study, DVAN short-term trend. Add another study, DVAN signals. So now you see the DVAN system added onto the chart with MAADEN security on a 6-month daily chart. First, I'll go over a little bit about these studies. You see red shading and green shading within these cycles. This is showing the buying cycles and the selling cycles. When you have a cross of the lines here, the light blue line and red line, that means you've entered a buying cycle. And when those lines cross down, as you see here and here, that means you've entered a selling cycle. Points of support and resistance within that buying and selling cycle are given by the trend line and the pivot line. The pivot line is the gray dotted line. These are good exit points. You also have the short-term trend, which is the indicator in the middle panel. This is a very good indicator for swing trading. When you see green shading, it's indicating a positive movement up. When you see red shading, it's indicating a weak trend for swing trading purposes. These are also good areas to exit trades. So if you were long and you see the red shading come in on May 3rd, you would look to exit that trade on a swing trading basis. Also note there's a zero line running through the short-term trend indicator. This is indicating overall bullish or bearish bias on a longer term basis. So we see when the baseline comes up to the zero line, fails at the zero line and turns back down, that's showing a point of resistance and that we're re-entering a negative trend. And lastly, we have DVAN signals indicator, which is the panel below. When green crosses blue up, you get a green arrow. When green crosses blue down, you get a red arrow. This is a velocity-based signal. There's also a zero line running through to indicate longer-term positive or negative trends. So to use these studies together, we would see a green arrow with green shading in the short-term trend means a good long trade. As we take this long trade and hold the position, once it starts coming into the shading, that's starting to signal support and potential consolidation. It's a good place to look at taking your position. On the short side, when you get short, when you get a red arrow with red shading, it's a good place to get short on a swing trading basis. When it starts breaking back up through the light blue line into the red shading, it's a good place to get out. We'll look at a few more examples. SABIC. This is a 6-month daily chart. Once again, we see red arrow, red shading, good place to get short. You see the red shading occur in the buying selling pressure study. This is showing that we're in a selling cycle. During this period of consolidation, when you see the selling cycle expand with a lot more red again, that means it's going to continue into the selling cycle with more force. You also see during that time the line in the short-term trend break zero, meaning that we're going to enter a negative trend. Then we get a green buying signal, green arrow, green shading. It's a good place to enter long. We would let this trade continue until it starts coming, the price starts coming back into the shading, and that's a good place to exit your trade. Now we'll look at Taiwanuya. Going to look at this on a 60-minute basis, 10-day. DVAN smart lines can also be used for swing trading intraday. You'll want to look for the same setups. You want to look for green arrows with green shading showing an uptrend will occur. Red arrows with red shading showing a downtrend. When you see a conglomeration of arrows, we want to really look at the dominant trend. In this case, the dominant trend is to the short side and weak because we see the red shading and because the lines have broken through zero, indicating more weakness. Look at it on a 15-minute, 5-day chart. For shorter term swing trading, we can see points of entry for short-term swings. Hopefully this helped. If you have any more questions, please feel free to get in touch with us at info@divergenceanalysis.com. Thank you.